Hello, I'm Rick Jordan. Welcome to today's devotion. Susan and I have been members of Ardmore Baptist Church for almost 18 years. I'm a Bible study teacher for adults, sometimes teach on Wednesday nights, occasionally preach, sometimes sing. I am a deacon and on the personnel committee of our church. I'm speaking to you today from our house of 9 years. It's a house that we did a lot of work on and then lived here for 9 years. But when we started, this was a ranch house that was typical kind of ranch house, and we basically gutted it and made it what we wanted it to be. A lot of structural changes and some cosmetic changes. We have a door back here that we have full light coming in, which was not there. We had a low ceiling. We raised it to be a vaulted ceiling. We have a fireplace mantle now, built by a friend. So a lot of work was done for this house. Here's my question. How much of all that work made this house a home? We're in a new house now, and that house has taken, again, a lot of planning and a lot of work and a lot of expense. The question again, how much of all that work and planning and expense makes that house into a home? Of course, you see where I'm going. A house is not necessarily a home. A house is a structure, but a home is people who love and support one another. You may love your house, but it's never going to love you back. Church buildings are kind of like that too. I miss going to our church building, going to my Sunday school class, going to our beautiful, awesome sanctuary. But I miss more than the architecture. I miss you, because you are what makes Ardmore Baptist Church a church. The Bible tells us the story of a time that Jesus was passing through Samaria. Now, the Samaritans had a hateful history with one another. There was so much contempt with this long history of distrust and disgust and discounting. Both the Jews and Samaritans felt like they knew God better than the other, and they knew the way God needed to be worshiped and the way God wanted to be worshiped and where. The Jews said that God needed to be worshiped in the holy city, Jerusalem. The Samaritans said the holy mountain, Mount Gerizim, the place where Abraham, when he left Ur, built his first altar in recognition of who God was. Jesus initiated a conversation with this Samaritan woman who happened to be drawing water from a well, and he asked her for some water. And from their conversation, she could tell that this was a different man who did not meet all the cultural norms and expectations that she had thought. I'm going to read to you from John's Gospel, chapter 4, verses 19 to 26. The woman said to him, "Sir, I see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you say that the place where people must worship is in Jerusalem." Jesus said to her, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming and is now here when true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father seeks such as these to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth." The woman said to him, "I know that Messiah is coming, who is called Christ. When he comes, he will proclaim all things to us." Jesus said to her, "I am he, the one who is speaking to you." She asked about place. What is the best place to worship God? There are two options: our mountain, your city. Which place hosts real religion? And Jesus said, "You're asking the wrong question." That's not in those exact words. That's the Jordan translation. When can we meet again as Ardmore Baptist Church? When can I go back to my classroom? When can I sit in my pew again? Those are wrong questions. The real right question is, will God hear my prayers when I shelter in place? Will God's Spirit be with me whether I am healthy or sick, employed or unemployed, young or elderly, Chinese, Italian, or American? God is Spirit. And I think Jesus means that God is different from us. It's as simple as that. God is not limited by time or money or viruses. God is bigger than our images of God, bigger than our words about God. And God is truth. There is nothing false in God. It really is hard for me to imagine a world in which there are no false hopes or no false promises, in which truth controls the justice system, the political system, the religious paradigms. How disappointed we all are by ignorance and lies and betrayals. All of that is the opposite of God. Those who worship God worship in spirit and truth. If you have the humility to acknowledge that you are not God, if you have the contrite spirit to acknowledge that you are not always true to who God created you to be, you can worship God in spirit and truth, whether on a mountaintop or in inner city, whether in your home or on Miller Street.